feel great, feel amazing. I raced with my homie Jack. We grew up riding Fixie together. Feels like home riding with him on the track. Red Bull brings people together, baby.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. So excited to get into this one. I know you've been waiting for it. I've been working with my editor to put this together. We have so much footage. This is the Red Bull Short Circuit in San Francisco. It is a Fixie short track criterium, but what does that mean? It's totally different than the normal four-corner criterium you guys are used to. These are on fixed gear bikes, which means there are no brakes, there is no backpedaling, there's no coasting, there's no freewheeling, there's no changing gears. If you pedal backwards, the bike goes backwards. So to slow down, you have to do this kind of weird shimmy with your legs and kind of pop the back wheel up. It's a short track criterium, so we're not outside. We're not doing like 1 mile laps. These are 30-second laps on an indoor go-kart track. It is not even really about who's the fittest, who's the strongest. It is about who is the best at jockeying for position and, you know, getting those inside lines and really taking ripping corners. So it's so much about the equipment choice and about being fearless in these corners. And not just that, the structure of the race is different too. So it's a missing out style race. And for those track heads out there, you'll know what that means, but I'll explain it really quick. The last rider on each lap gets eliminated until there's only one rider left. So it's super exciting. Every single lap, there's this fight not to get eliminated, and they're only like 30 to 40 second laps. So you start in the qualifiers, and there are, I don't know, maybe like 8-10 heats in the qualifiers, 8 riders per qualifying heat. The top 4 advance, make it to the semifinals. In the semifinals, there's also groups of 8, but only the top 2 advance from the semifinals to make it to the finals, where you finally have 10 riders all battling it out for that top spot. So with that said, let's jump into some race footage. Okay, so heat number 1. This is the qualifier. I am nervous as hell. The crowd's going crazy. I think lining up on the outside is the way to go. They blow the whistle, and it is definitely not. I mean, my clip-in wasn't bad, but it certainly wasn't good. Puts me at the very back of the field, which means this race could be over for me in like 30 seconds or 45 seconds in the first lap. Remember, they're polling people the very first lap. It's a missing out style race, and I got to move up. So I'm already battling behind me here with a couple of riders, and I'm pretty desperate to give myself that buffer. That's what you want. And I want you to pay attention to the rear camera as we enter the hairpin here. This is Gavin, who is another roadie, and he just sends it over the barrier. And this is where fitness can actually get you in trouble in an event like this, because you're used to having brakes, you're used to being able to freewheel, and if you just go too fast, you can't slow down in time. Then you just go over the barrier. Slowing down is just as hard as speeding up. You have to backpedal. You have to put force on the back pedal, and you have to, maybe even skid a little bit if you really need to slow down. But what happened through there is it gave myself this little buffer, and now I'm feeling a little bit more confident. You can see I'm taking pretty ripping lines through these corners, and hey, all of a sudden, within a lap and a half, I went from dead last to second place. So I'm pretty stoked on this. I don't want to be around other riders because I just want to take my own lines. That's the fastest way to do this. So I still want to pass this front rider. And plus, I'm a competitive guy, so I want to finish first in my heat, even though the top 4 advance. So I'm looking for places to pass this guy, and you guys can see how difficult it is. Like, I think this section right here, that little wiggle, it's so hard to pass. I try right here, but again, this is just really difficult. Because you kind of depend on them making mistakes. Like right there, he took it too wide. I take the inside line. I really stand on it right there, put some power down, and I was able to get in front of him. But you can definitely like overcook that corner, and trust me, we'll get to it. I end up overcooking that corner, but for now in my qualifier, I'm on the front now. This is exactly where I want to be. This is where I end up staying the rest of the race. I can take my own corners, and pretty stoked on this. This was a big confidence boost for me because I went from the very last in my group on lap 1 to the very front by lap 3 and qualified to the semis. All right, so on to the semifinals, and funny thing is I almost missed it. I was late to it. The schedule got a little bit messed up later in the night, and I'm going to try to squeeze in here next to Tyler, my buddy, the vegan cyclist. But this is a different group now, right? This is the fast group of guys who have all qualified in their respective heats. And now, instead of the top 4 advancing, only the top 2 advance in this group to make it to the finals. This is your ticket to the finals. You got to be top 2 in this group. And we all want to be part of that group. We're all going to fight for it. I try to get on the inside. I try to get a better starting position. I think it is, but again, just another awful clip. And this was even worse than the qualifier for me. And at least I don't end up last after this, but I just get an immediate push, as you can see. And check out this gap. Just immediately, I fall back to, what is this, 6th wheel, something like that, behind this guy in the blue who takes less than ideal lines, almost goes down in corner number 1. And it's might not seem like much. This is like, what, a 4-second gap? But like I said earlier, I mean, passing these people and making up that ground is so difficult. So I make pretty short work of these 2 guys. And there's still 3 riders in front of me. So I'm sitting 4th wheel. I have to be top 2 to advance. And I have to make that happen within 7 laps, or else I am knocked out and I do not I do not make the finals. So a couple laps later, I close down the gap to these front 3 riders, and now only 2 of us advance. The gap to the riders behind us is huge. I almost find this opportunity right here when Blue takes that corner a little bit too hot and takes it wide, but I wasn't quite able to get my handlebars in front of his. But now I have 2 more laps, actually 3 more laps to get into the top 2 riders here. And I got to start making a pass because I'm currently in position number 4. I need to be in positions 1 or 2. And I find this opportunity right up here. We're all 4 together. This is high stakes right here, but we're all going to come barging into this hairpin, all trying to get into this hairpin first because that's going to dictate who gets knocked out next. And I just take it a little bit too fast. I was so close. And I had to unclip, unfortunately. The rider behind me, if you look at the rear camera, the rider behind me just absolutely front flips over the barricade. I felt guilty in that moment. I thought I pushed him wide. Turns out, after looking at the footage, he was just coming in way too hot like I was and did a front flip. I got pulled from the race actually prematurely. The official pulled me. He didn't see the rider that went over the barricade. But, you know, to be honest, it was going to be a pretty tall order for me to catch the rider in blue with that gap, with just 1 more lap to go. So, hey, I rolled in 3rd, didn't quite make the cutoff for the finals. I was right on the bubble, but I'm pretty stoked with my performance. Those are some of the fastest laps I did in the race, and was able to sit on the sideline and watch the thrilling finish for both the men's and the women's fields. All right, so I'm down, but I'm not out. Don't forget, this is a 2-day Omnium. We have the Red Bull Bay Climb the following day, which, in case you've forgotten, it is like a 75-second climb up one of the steepest hills in San Francisco. That's Potrero Hill on a fixed-gear bike. You go absolutely as deep as possible. I'm hoping I can claw back some Omnium points, stand on that podium. But just to wrap up today, the short circuit was an absolute blast. I have tons of respect for these Fixie kids. They know their equipment like the back of their hand. They know how to have a good time. And honestly, the road and crit scene has something to learn. Like, this was a blast. I want to thank Red Bull for putting on the event, State for sponsoring me with the bike, and look forward to the next video, guys. I'm going to be dropping it soon. Leave a like, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.